Shaun here with RealAgriculture.com, and right now I'm joined by a great friend of the site, Rob Saik. How are you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing very well, Shaun. Good to be back on Real Agriculture.
Good to have you. Hey, Rob, on the weekend, you spoke at the Canadian Farm Writers annual meeting, and boy, you got things really stirred up all about a little red barn. What happened?
Well, the topic of the conference was bridging the divide between the rural and urban marketplaces. And I was brought in along with Dr. Terry Church to talk to the Canadian farm writers about bridging or mending the fences between the city people and the country people and their logo for the conference. And I appreciate the work that goes into a conference and all that, the volunteerism and stuff like that. But I took the opportunity to use their logo, which was a little red barn in front of skyscrapers, as the moment to unveil a thought that I've been working on for quite a while, which is I'm tired of the little red barn. And the reason that I say that is not to disparage barns, but the fact of the matter is the icon of the little red barn or the little red tractor no longer exists. It doesn't represent agriculture as we know it today. And I think it's time to stop using those outdated icons when we're trying to communicate to city people, because we're perpetuating the divide by putting up an icon that doesn't exist anymore.
So you feel a use of like an old red barn, and you see these pictures all the time, and now you've got people sending you pictures on Facebook like crazy of their little red barn on their farm. So you're getting a good collection of photos. Do you think this really does create that sort of detriment, that it creates this bigger wedge between urban and rural communities?
Well, I think the practical side of it is, and I'm glad that people are paying attention to what I said, and I didn't mean to cause people to be offended by what I said, but yes, I do feel it causes a divide. If you talk to people in the city about what their impressions are of farming, they think round-fendered 1950 step-side truck, they think open cab tractor, they think about a little red barn. And that doesn't line up with agriculture today. I mean, today's dairy industry, today's beef industry, today's hog industry, today's crop production industry is anything but little red barn-ish.
So what should the icon be then?
Well, I'm not the graphic designer of the industry. I don't know, but some thoughts would be to have a more modern depiction of what we're doing. The thing that comes to mind is telecommunication and satellites. I mean, people don't equate that with agriculture. I was in a combine the other day, and I was combining with Jeff Echo, and he was in a 980 John Deere combine. We were combining hard red spring wheat that was popping over 100 bushels an acre. And, you've got your GPS, you've got all of your gizmotology in the combine about all the settings, and then you got your yield monitor, moisture sensor, all happening in real time and tying it together with the yield map. And that combine is $500,000. And that's today's agriculture. So, an icon or a farmer sitting in a cab surrounded by computer screens more accurately depicts what a lot of guys are doing today than an open-faced, cabless red tractor.
Well, I saw some people on Twitter in the response to some of this conversation on the weekend said, well, Rob, yeah, like this is our heritage. This is our history. I'm proud of it. We should be showcasing it. Why do you think that we're so hesitant to give up icons like the Little Red Barn?
Well, I'm not suggesting that from a heritage standpoint it doesn't have meaning. It does, and there's something nostalgic about it. But when we're trying to communicate agriculture to the city people, to a modern urban audience, could we find a different way to do that? Do we have to use the icon of a little red barn to create the conversation about agriculture? Because that automatically puts the city people or the urban people in the switches their mode back to some nostalgic time of throwing straw up into the loft and having the horses down below. And I'm just trying to bring to attention the fact that we've got an issue in agriculture. And the issue in agriculture is disparity. And the disparity is between what we're actually doing on the farm in terms of modern biotechnology and computer integration and agronomic practices, sustainability metrics, and all of the things that are actually happening on the farm versus what people have in their minds of the image of agriculture with a farmer with overalls, bib overalls, and a straw hanging out of his mouth. That ain't so anymore.
Or as much as we'd like to perpetuate it.
Or as much as we like to perpetuate it. So, you know, I didn't mean, again, to pick on anybody, but it was just a classic example at the time of a little red barn in front of skyscrapers. Well, skyscrapers are pretty accurate about a city, but the little red barn is not. And the whole idea was to create a discussion around the why do we have an urban-rural divide? Well, it was right there on the screen, so I used it.
Perfect. Hey, I got you. Well, I got you. Can you give us an update on the No GMO movie? How's it go? How are things going?
Yeah, the No GMO movie is moving nicely along. We are through most of the filming phase. We have got filming done now in Hawaii, most of America. We filmed in Argentina, Uganda, and Kenya. Nick and the crew right now are filming in Canada, and we're moving slowly into the post-filming production phase. We've raised about $800 and some thousand. We're still $400,000 short from completing the budget necessary to actually finish the movie. We're still planning on releasing the movie, Lord willing, by the spring of 2016, and we will be profiling the progress of the making of No GMO, the movie, and that's KNOW, No GMO, the movie, at the December 2nd banquet at the Farm Forum event in Saskatoon.
Hey, that's great, Rob. Great to hear. Looking forward to that. Real Agriculture will definitely be at Farm Forum this year to take that in. So, hey, Rob, great talking to you, and have a great week.